is a mistake, okay? Now just to move on to training, okay? And training plays such an important role in maintaining our muscle mass as we enter in a calorie deficit. The most common mistakes people make, or they don't mean to make, but what they end up experiencing as they get low energy, as they reduce their food intake, is their training frequency or their training intensity suffers as a result. The first thing that's going to happen if you enter into a calorie deficit is you're going to feel slightly flatter in the gym. It's natural. It happens to everyone. Your energy levels are going to be slightly lower. You're not going to experience as much of a pump as you would have experienced before. And it's quite easy to experience this feeling and then step off the gas from a work rate perspective, or step off the gas from a strength perspective when it comes to the amount of weight we're lifting in certain exercises. That is a mistake, okay? Big lifts and mechanical tension need to be maintained as much as possible. We need to force the body to require all of the muscle that it is built when it had the required calories to do so, okay? So my golden rule is to maintain weight on the bar. When I'm trying to diet down, when I'm trying to lose weight, I don't allow myself mentally to drop weight on the bar. Now, I might be forced to a certain degree because I just cannot do it. I am failing at the level that I was set before. But I have to get to that point before I start to drop down, and I will drop in the smallest increment possible and force myself to almost train harder than I was training on a bulk or when I wasn't in a deficit to maintain that strength. That is what is going to force our body to recruit all of the muscle fibers that we have built during that time and force them to require their use and therefore prioritize maintaining that muscle mass even when our body is in a low energy state and a low caloric intake. It might be that we have to drop volume back slightly just because our energy levels are slightly low. That, I would say, it comes at a priority or comes before we lift weight off the bar. Okay, so maintaining our strength is fundamental, is really, really, really important, and maintaining that volume as much as we can to a degree. It will require quite a lot of mind muscle collection. It will require tempo control. It will require extra concentration compared to what you're used to when you're just training normally. That's to be expected. That's the sacrifice or kind of the additional effort we have to make if we want a dialed in physique, if we want to maintain muscle and lean out at the same time. That's what it takes. That's what you have to do.